Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the NGMI podcast, a show where I talk about crypto investing with people who are a lot better at it than me. The whole point of this show is to have in depth conversations with experienced investors, developers, and traders, and then pass on interesting and practical information about crypto to you guys. Today, I'm speaking with Marty, an experienced crypto options trader who goes by @ThinkingVols on Twitter. Marty is an extremely knowledgeable options and volatility trader with more than 10 years' experience in trading and investing in digital assets. He's a fund manager and self described Voltard for the DeFi options platform Premia, where he also writes a great weekly newsletter called Marty's Thoughts. And I strongly suggest you go check that out. But in today's episode, we're going to talk about what Marty thinks brand new investors should do if they're just getting started in crypto, why the market is currently in a state of post-ETF clarity, the biggest potential market trends over the next few months, including some fun facts about Ethereum, why he's freakishly bullish on Brazil, why you should probably just get a job at Chipotle, and more. Without further ado, let's get stuck in. Marty, and we're live. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. So just get straight into it. For the audience who doesn't know much about you, can you give me some background as to how you got into crypto and what kind of work you're doing right now?
Sure. Well, besides from a Twitter sensation, and the hat phenomenon, we run a crypto vol book. So we manage a portfolio of options and option market making strategies, option arbitrage strategies. But it's been a lot of years now. It all started with my friends buying fun things online with Bitcoin. And I don't know, a kid, high school or something like this, 15 or something, 14, something like that. And, I saw something there, right? Like, oh yeah, we can move money around globally, kind of low fee or, minimal fee. At the time, it wasn't that popular. I think, less than $100 a coin.
Hmm.
I ended up buying one Bitcoin or like, whatever, zero point 0.9 or whatever it was, about $100. And I didn't have a lot of money or I probably would have bought more, right? And it turned into accumulating a handful of coins, nothing crazy, and writing it up to $1,000. So that was like, oh my God, dude, I'm rich, right? I'm like a kid with like whatever, $10,000, let's say, something like this. Like, oh, I'm rich, this is it. And I ended up writing that all the way back down to 100. That was like my first cycle. But I, just had a handful of coins. Then come 2016 or 2017, I guess that was the next cycle. I, had a full time job then. I was not really trading. I was just accumulating. I was like, oh well, next time I'm gonna keep it, right? How do I keep all of these coins? And I was fortunate enough to get a kind of like internship for a friend's family office. It was like I was pushing paper and sending faxes. It was nothing at the beginning, and that turned into how do you manage a portfolio or learning about that, and it just took off from there. It wasn't like I have a TradFi background or I went to some amazing school or my parents' friends owned the family office. It was in the car scene at the time, and it was one of the car guys ran a small family office, and he kind of took me under his wing and taught me how to manage a portfolio. And fast forward, now we run our own book. We run our own little small boutique size fund, and we mainly focus on options. Before we were doing a bunch of spot stuff, and a bunch of D1 stuff, so a bunch of perp stuff. A lot of stuff was uh, not illiquid. A lot of stuff was mispriced, or there was a lot of arbitrage opportunities buying one, selling another. That maybe is there now, but you're talking pennies before it was thousands of dollars difference. And you're finally seeing this in the options space where every venue has different pricing. So that's kind of what we focus on now is either options market making, both sides of the book, or buying and selling on another, or just overall outright selling of mispriced options. Kind of switch up the strategy. We stay fluid with it. We're not always selling calls or something like this. So hopefully that's enough intro for me.
Okay, no, awesome. So you're big options like volatility guy. I don't know shit about like crypto options trading. So when it comes to this side, I kind of consider myself like a Neanderthal with internet access. Um,
But
what do you prefer about options compared to like hold like bidding spot futures perps that kind of thing? What was it that made you think like yeah options is the play here? That's what I like.
oh, just finding an edge, right? There's so many people in the Delta One space, like the perp space. Like you're competing with PWF, you're competing with Wintermute, Flowdesk, Jump, all the big guys. And that's not a pool that I wanted to swim in anymore. The crypto option space is still new. It's about 3% of PERT volume. But if you're familiar with TradFi markets in the States, the notional value traded is higher in stocks in options than actual shares traded. So there is a market here for options. It will continue to grow. I used to be in the camp that we would take over PERT volume, but I'm totally okay if we don't. There's plenty of money to be made if we're not doing more than PERT volume. And, until this pool gets crowded, I'll happily swim in it. And I think we're at the early stages. There's so much inefficiency in this market, especially when you're talking DeFi options. We're at the very inception of what DeFi can do in terms of the option space.
Okay, cool. What do you so with the like inefficiencies in DeFi, you don't have to give away all your alpha for free, but like what where are the main areas that you see inefficiency arising?
You have a big issue in DeFi, 100% on chain in terms of speed. So you're not able to quote fast enough. You're not able to pull quotes fast enough. The timer is too slow. Maybe there's no portfolio margin. It's all very at an infant stage. You're seeing a lot of people kind of copy the roadmap that DYDX went. DYDX is kind of the grandfather of derivatives on chain, but they're only doing perps, right? They're not doing options or dated futures or things like this. And I think rightfully so. I think that they stay in their own lane and they do fine just there. So now you're seeing people on chain follow the roadmap of DYDX. They're building their own app chain. Um, I'm not sure how I necessarily feel about app chains. It feels like, oh, come bridge over to our app chain. Now you're stuck on our island, and there could be an exploit leaving the island or coming onto the island. It just seems like another uh, kind of attack on vulnerability for them, or another angle of attack for a hacker or something
Mm,
like this. But that will reduce speeds that will make speeds faster. You can quote faster. You can make markets faster. A lot of these people right now do off-chain order books and on-chain settlement. So that's how you're just talking to an API cloud, a cloud API, an
mm,
AWS or similar, and that's how they're able to keep the market so moving so quickly, so fast. And now most of those people are moving to app chains.
okay. What do you mean by app chains?
Like DYDX built on Cosmos, right? It's their own, I don't want to call it a fork, but it's like an app chain built on the Cosmos blockchain. You're also seeing people build this on Celestia. So they're building their own app chain on Celestia. They're using the Celestia framework to build out their own, carve out their own little island, I like to call it.
Mm, okay. So like dimension and roll apps and all that kind of stuff. I'm not super across that. But I think that's kind of
I'm like
what we're
DeFi
talking about here.
retarded, right? I know you wanted to talk about Ethereum restaking, and I was like, dude, if I can't tell my accountant, what I'm doing, if I can't explain it to my accountant, then there's no way that I can do this.
Yeah, no,
Sorry,
I'm in a
sorry,
oh no no
restakers.
no. I'm in a similar boat, man. Like I hear a lot of chatter around Ethereum restaking, Eigenlayer, all of these new things that are popping up as like offshoots of Eigenlayer. Of like we're using Eigenlayer tech. This is the future of DeFi, and I'm just like, what is going on?
Yeah, it's like the ZK rollups thing, right? Like a lot of people thought that, or still think that ZK rollups is the next thing. Oh, I know some people have built some stuff on it, but it's just not getting like this main adoption, right? We're swimming in our
mm,
own swimming pool over here, which is totally fine. And let's even take options, right? There's going to be options on these ETFs. There's going to be options on centralized exchanges. And then there's going to be options on decentralized exchanges. And a lot of those people will not swim over to the other pool. That's okay, and they'll stay in their lane or they'll stay in their ecosystem, right? If you're more DeFi native, you're going to stay in a decentralized way. If you're a fund in the US particularly, or then you're going to be trading, regulated products on US markets. If you're an offshore entity, then you'll be on the likes of a centralized exchange. So kind of the same ideology here when it comes to anything crypto. We've never hit this mass adoption yet, and I don't think people are ready for kind of what that looks like.
yeah, okay. What do you think is the thing that actually catches the biggest adoption? What's Marty's thoughts on that?
The biggest adoption is blockchain tech as a whole. I don't think that it has to be public. I don't know, let's say you're a shipping company, you're like, I want to know where all my stuff is, and I don't want people to manipulate the code or sorry, the data of where this box has been. Well, you can keep it on your private blockchain. I'm all for freedom of movement, freedom of speech, freedom of finances, but you still have to pay your taxes. Like
Mm,
if you don't want to pay your taxes, then move somewhere where you don't have to pay taxes, and that's okay. But if you don't want to live in a Caribbean island or in the desert, then
or
you're
Puerto
gonna
Rico?
have to.
Yeah.
Yeah, an island or the desert, right? If you're gonna then you're gonna have to pay some tax. I know people who have great structures, but they're forced to move, and I don't like that either. Like they have to spend 6 months here minimum. They have to spend 3 months somewhere minimum. And that's cool until the hurricane comes. And then you're like, oh my God, like I want to leave, but I also don't want to pay tax or minimal. I want to pay minimal tax, so I need to stay. That's totally lame. Like you're
Yeah.
whining and complaining over. Brazil is 15% tax up to $1 million. So anything over 1 million, then you need to have a new bracket. But for the majority of people on crypto
For,
Twitter, a
for
million a
most.
year is more than enough. And
Yeah, okay.
there's some exemptions here. We have a pretty clear cut tax guidance on crypto. You can buy and sell crypto instantly to and from your bank account. You even have banks here that allow you to deposit crypto majors and altcoins and stable coins on chain, and they'll custody it for you. This is available to any sort of person, and the access to financial products here in Brazil is very large. It's not just crypto, you also have fund access, you also have structured product access that we call COIs, COE. Um, you have fixed income and variable income products. You have a wide variety of products here available to the regular person, where in the States, it's like, are you sophisticated? Are you accredited? All of these kinds of terms. It's funny, like
Mm.
accredited investor means you have a million liquid. Well, it's not, doesn't mean you're smart.
Just means you've got it. Yeah, okay. I mean, we were talking before about some of the things that are happening in Brazil. Um, and for everyone listening, Marty's based in Brazil. What's the crypto scene like over there? And you were saying before that you're very bullish about crypto in Brazil. Why is that?
Bullish on Brazil in general and BRICS as a whole. Here in Rio, we have a company called Hashdex. They have ETFs in the States, and they have ETF equivalents here in Brazil, crypto funds. Nice office that they got here, but they are bidding or applying for the ETH ETF in the States. They're kind of have their hands in everywhere in the crypto space. You have the instant deposits and withdrawals in and out of Brazilian banks for crypto. You have an instant settlement layer called Pix, which I can send you, I don't know, $5, $1, 5 cents, or $100,000 equivalent in Brazilian hash, all instantly, settles instantly. This is widely popular. It's like, oh, you have a phone number, then you have a Pix. You have an email, then you can get a Pix account. It's an instant settlement layer. And the crypto scene here is like way more vibrant. Last year and the year before, you go to an event or you go to a conference, and it feels like peak bull market. Where, like, if you went in Paris, or where did I go last year? Whatever, Milan or whatever, it was kind of just like, oh yeah, the people building are here, but it's not like frothy yet, right? It's not happening. It's just like the people actually building, the devs are building, the devs were in Europe and in America, and then here it's kind of everybody's all in. I feel like in Argentina there's a wide use case of staples. In particularly, they have
Mm.
something crazy like 100% inflation, so you can buy, it's funny, it's USDT on Tron. They like USDT specifically on Tron because of the low fees in Argentina.
Yeah, I saw Kobe posting about that a while back about USD on Tron being like the number one kind of like stables use case. That's nuts.
Yeah, you can't buy everything with it, but for sure you can use it for a lot of things in Argentina. Argentina's wild. Your rent goes up every month. Your car payment goes up every month. Minimum wage goes up every month. So, the coffee on the fucking coffee shop goes up every day. The little paper ticker that they change, the little pricing board changes every day. So these people are crypto friendly, especially the new generation, right? Everybody has a mobile device or whatever, a computer. Not everybody, but majority of people. And you can even send stables and then get a moto boy, a guy on a motorcycle, come deliver you like a stack of cash in Argentina. Yeah,
as you
like, but like,
as you do.
$1,000 is like 100,000, right? It's like totally
Wow.
different,
Okay.
right? Like when $1,000 is like a stack of cash, like a bag of cash, right? And this will last you, one dinner if you go to the most expensive place, or it could last you, a month, depending on where you're, what you're doing, where you're eating, shopping, things like this. But yeah, you can just, oh hey, I want, $1,000 worth. Sure, send it. Bing. 5 minutes later, a guy on a motorcycle comes with your, bag. It's hilarious.
Mm. Yeah. Okay. That's really interesting. What's regulation like in South America? Is it? I mean, I've looked into it a little bit in the past, and I know that new Argentina president is chill with Bitcoin, but I don't know what's the rest of South America, particularly Brazil, like with how it's going to approach crypto tokens.
Sure. So in El Salvador, they're trying to do the Bitcoin bond, the Bitcoin city. Bitcoin is the financial future of the world. Okay, sure. I think El Salvador's also 6 million people. So
Handing out
LA
freedom
greater.
visas. Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, great. Have fun. Bitcoin Beach, amazing. Nice guinea pig project. If it works out, I'm happy for them, for sure. Uh, The regulatory stance I only know of Brazil, so I'll comment on it more. We have clear cut guidance of tax, and if it's a security, utility token, things like this, you can claim exempt up to, I would say, $6,000 a month. On crypto, you have to declare it every month or quarter, depending, every year, depending. If you buy, sell, trade crypto for your taxes, and like I said earlier, it's about 15% capital gains tax for crypto. We have this instant settlement layer called PIX, which is a product from the central bank. And what's very different about Brazil in particular is they are pushing for this revolution of finances. They want to tokenize everything. Right now, they're starting to tokenize real world assets. I know, guys, a meme, real world assets are a meme, but we're
RWA.
tokenizing the RWA. It's the new eigenlayer, right?
The suits are
But
coming.
we're yeah, yeah, exactly. Institutions are here, but they're tokenizing soy in Brazil, and they ran a
That's a
pilot
meme. I'm sorry.
program.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, that's a meme. Yeah,
That's
I
good,
know.
dude.
But soy is a huge product here in Brazil,
Hmm.
and Brazil is going to launch something called the Drex. I don't know why they came up with that name. It's dumb, but it stands for. They could have just went for digital real, the Brazilian real, right? We could have just went for the digital real, but we went for Drex, and it's a product from the central bank. It's a CBDC, and we will probably be the first country of 200 million people to be the guinea pigs for this. I think it's going to come faster than many people think. The new regulations come this year into next year, and what's different, particularly about Brazil, is that they pushed for this new financial economy, this digitalized economy. They went out and ran a pilot program, which I want to say like 15 to 30 projects came in and pitched how they could do a stable coin and Aave or Aave, however you want to pronounce it. The decentralized protocol was one of these pilot or companies to come participate in the pilot. They ended up picking somebody else, but now Brazil is on the forefront of launching this CBDC. And first, it's a wholesale CBDC, so it will be used for trade and trade purposes. We already have this PIX instant settlement layer for peer to peer, peer to business, or even business to business, I guess. But this Drex will mostly be used for trade at the very beginning. It's just an instant settlement layer of financial products instead of US is like T+1, T+2 day settlement on stuff, which is at this point is dumb, right? Everybody has 5G on their phone already. We can just make it instant.
Have
We can make it a little
make it.
faster, guys.
Yep. I think we've seen that with kind of moving the scope a little bit, but like I think we've seen a lot of that shit with Bitcoin ETF data coming through, like T+1, T+2, even the Bloomberg guys being like, it's been 3 days since we've had data for these products come through,
They're
and
like starving. It's been
we're
three
not
days.
we're not sure what actual volumes are, but yeah, it's nuts. But yeah, speaking of Bitcoin ETFs, I was reading. I am an avid enjoyer of your newsletter, Marty's Thoughts. Um, you were talking the other day about there being post ETF clarity, and I was curious as to what you meant by that, because obviously we had ETFs come through, price runs up to nearly 50, and then bleeds back down to like what, just sub 40K in a couple of days. So yeah, curious as to what you think of what you meant by post ETF clarity.
Similar to like post nut clarity, like everybody was all this kind of was the joke, right?
Yeah,
Everybody got all horny into this ETF. You had forwards trading at, I don't know, 140 vol, 150 vol. You had at the money vols trading around 100. 1 week at the money around over 100. This is like typical crypto, 100 vol products. Okay, great. You saw volatility bleed all last year, besides of some after FTX, and then you had last year, and bleed all the way until you had some crypto specific news, the XRP SEC filing, you know, the ETF hype. So you had all of this build up into an event, and this always happens in crypto. But we set a date. That happens in any market, I guess. There's a date, there's an event, everybody builds up hype into this event, and nobody's sure. Oh, we're going to see $3 billion inflow. We're going to see whatever, whatever the numbers they're throwing around. If every pension fund invests, there's going to be 2% of, the
People were
world
saying 10
reserve. Yeah,
trillion at some point. They're like, there's 10
yeah.
trillion coming in the next 10 years. It's
In the first week. Yeah, whatever, guys. Okay, like I had been writing about this in the newsletter for like this hopium. So the event was building up, the event happened, price was going up into the event because we kept getting these postpones. Nobody knows what if there is that $10 trillion. What if we do go to 100K tomorrow? So nobody knows. There's a lot of uncertainty. Volatility picks up into these events, hype, hopium gets built up into these events, and then what did we see? We saw GBTC unwind, I don't know, $4 or $5 billion. We just saw kind of like a rebalancing of the GBTC products as a whole. GBTC was at like a 50% discount to NAV. So it was screwed for like months, right? People were buying this as a levered long Bitcoin play. Like if there is a ETF, like we're going to instantly double our money, right? Even if we buy right now, we're going to double our money. And now you're seeing that they can become liquid, and these people are just choosing either to cash out or go into a different product with less fees. So now you're seeing a fee game in between all of the different ETFs in terms of who can provide the lowest fee or the discounted fee for 6 months. And once we saw the ETF happen, we had this post ETF clarity that, it wasn't the 10 trillion everybody was thinking about. It wasn't what was expected. But I do believe that these products are good for the market as a whole. Just on week one, it's not as insane as they thought. But as a whole, of course, I like freedom and access to financial markets. So allowing US investors to have a spot ETF is better than trading a futures product like Bido or Bito, however you want to pronounce it.
Yeah.
Do you know that they do a dividend? Bito pays a dividend. It's literally meant to go to zero.
What? What?
Yeah, I
Why?
didn't know this until the other day. Yeah, they have carry from the future, so then they pay out a dividend. And I'm like, that's insane. So
Wow.
Frankenstein product, the ETF, spot ETF is much better product for people to buy, hold, trade, speculate. It also allows options to come into play because right now you only have options on the CME, so you'll have options on these spot ETF products, and it will overall be a good thing for the market, right? More participants, more flows, more money in, and these ETF products probably become a large holder of a majority holder of most of the quote physical coins.
Mm.
The suits
Do
are here.
you?
The institutions will be holders, hodlers.
BlackRock is buying our bags.
Larry Finkelvoss is buying.
Larry Finkelvoss. I saw someone talking about it was like Larry Fink getting really into RWA tokenization. It was a meme. It was like Chain Fink. And I was like, oh.
Chain Fink. He should come to Brazil. We're doing soy.
So Chain Fink,
That's
soy
not a
on
joke.
Chain Fink.
Holy thunder! Wow,
Was
that was a
that
crazy
a
thunder.
thunder
That
strike?
was thunder. Did you hear that?
Yeah, I heard that. That was fucking
Sounded like I
insane.
fucking hit a wall.
I thought your decks had cracked in half.
No, yeah. Wow, that was
Holy
rough.
shit. That's a welcome interruption. That's cool. Sounds of nature.
Yeah, we're
Back
back.
to
Summer,
there you go.
summer in Rio. No, it's weird. It was like sunny, 30 today, then it will rain 6 to 7, and then it's fine at 8 o'clock.
Wonderful. Dude, do you think we see a similar thing with Ethereum ETFs? Do you think we see a similar
Same
kind
thing.
of run? Same horniness for like, yep, it's coming. Everyone's gonna buy ETH.
Yeah, same shit. Same hype built into the event. So right now we're in like this no man's land of what's next? What's the next catalyst? 2024 has some great catalysts. You have the Bitcoin ETF, you have this ETH ETF, you have the presidential elections, and the Bitcoin halving. So it just depends on which one you want to ride. Uh, I think it's all good for risk assets. I don't know what Jay Powell said today. I guess I should catch up on
Oh
my
yeah,
news, but I was
I
on some
I have not looked at
meetings.
that.
I'm not sure if the economy's ruined or if he's going to use all of his tools. Everything's down today, so I'm assuming he said nothing amazing.
I'm assuming pause again.
Yeah,
I could
it's
probably I could we
the
could probably
world will
just
never know.
Google that.
He's going to use all of his
FOMC.
tools to keep inflation, to get inflation to 2%. It's the same thing he says every
It's
time. So
interest rates unchanged. Target's 2%. There we go. Yep, nothing happened.
and tools, and he's going to use his tools, and that's it. So
The the tools, which is up and down.
yeah, and to the
Launch
right.
tools.
So
Yeah.
yeah, so you have all these again, crypto specific narratives, all good for the price. I'd way rather trade 40 to 50K than whatever we were doing last year, like 25 to 30K.
Mm.
That was pretty miserable. So this will be better.
Yeah. Okay. And now that, I don't know, like all these different catalysts heading into 2024, what do you think like the upcoming market cycle looks like? I have my own very like mid curve thesis of just like Bitcoin, Ethereum lead, other faster kind of like alt L1s. I thought the alt L1 narrative was a bit of a stretch, but it seems to be working. Just this like rotation between like whatever they think is going to replace ETH this month, swap
Yeah,
around.
yeah,
Uh,
today. Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
was
today.
replacing
Oh,
today.
now it's Sui, guys. Don't worry. But yeah, I am curious as to what you think the upcoming super cycle looks like.
Everything goes up. I'm like an idiot. So we trade mostly coin margin contracts, so we're always have a spot bias of crypto majors, so Bitcoin, ETH, soon Solana, and some other things. I'm not like a huge fan of the Solana phone and the ecosystem and shit like that, but and what do they call it? The Solana manlets,
Yeah, the manlets.
sure,
Yep.
the manlets, yeah, Solana, right? Sure, amazing. I guess it doesn't really matter to me. I mean, I always hold a spot bag. I feel like a lot of people don't have a spot bag, so they're always trying to chase, what's replacing Ethereum today, and they're all in one day at a time. So that's what you see a lot of on crypto Twitter. Like, oh, I have 40% of my portfolio in Blast, locked up in ETH, gaining points. You're like, what the fuck is wrong with you guys? Like, you guys realize points doesn't equal money. I think the only one to do that was Blur, right? Blur,
Mm.
the ETF or Jesus, the NFT marketplace. I think was the only one ever to do points to money. But like, Friendtech points aren't coming for 3 years. Blast points 2 years, 3 years. Just nothing. Yeah, have fun in your metaverse with your fucking tokens. Okay, you guys all locked up ETH for 5% in tokens. Just like insane.
You're not a fan of the Pac-Man multi-sig, I'm guessing.
Oh man, dude. Yeah, it's like, oh, it's held by 5-person multi-sig. It's like, oh, how much money do you guys have on a multi-sig? Yeah, I got a lot of heat for talking shit about like Blast and Paradigm. And fuck them, dude. I'll say whatever I want, dude. I don't care. Right? I really don't
Okay.
care. Like, good for them. I'm happy for them. But is this going to be the ETH killer of today? There's going to be hype. There's going to be the hopium, and it probably turns into another Frentex type situation unless they,
Mm.
really do. No, there's going to be, NFTs on Blast. There's going to be new protocols on Blast. Probably the froth continues of people building and things like that. But oh man, It just kind of gets old. I'm a little more old school. Keep the spot bag, keep growing. I'm also in a position where I don't need to change or chase,
Mm.
the next thing. It's always fun to do rotating. Seems Bitcoin moves first, then ETH, then all the rotation goes to alts, and then back to ETH, and then back to Bitcoin. Kind of is like the
Yeah,
overall cycle.
the overall meta. What are your? And I am curious. What are your thoughts on concentration versus diversification? Like, you say that you're in a position where you don't have to worry about like chasing too much. Do you favor concentration now? Guess what I'm asking is, what would you say? You're a kind of a newcomer to crypto. You've got, I don't know, 5, 10K sort of thing. You want to get started. Um, yeah.
I think that you have access to more financial freedom in crypto for sure. You have more opportunity in crypto than in traditional markets. But I mean, go look at AMD, Nvidia, tech stocks this year. Like, you were better off probably playing spot Nvidia, than playing dog with hat or some shit, right? Like, I have no idea. Like, you're always, when you're chasing meme coins like this, you're always gonna have money tied up, or too much risk for me. Like, I'm all good to put $500, or I don't know, I put like 10,000 in Tia. Okay, cool. Well, I have $10,000 to lose, but if I had $10,000 and that was it, and I put it in Tia, and I actually bought the top, for record, I did buy the exact top
By
of
twenty
Tia and
dollars.
staked it for. I literally bought $20. I was like, oh, whole round numbers. I swear to God, I'll find the day. It was probably $19 or $20. Yeah, January 15th for sure. 15 days ago. I got 11 days
Nice.
left. So yeah, makes sense. And now it's 16. You're down 20%. You are still locked for X amount of time. You're hoping for all these airdrops. I fell into the hype, right? Amazing. I'm sure it probably keeps going higher. But as of right now, I probably feel like shit. Like, oh,
Mm.
this is my last $10,000. Um, if I had $10,000, where would I start? I have no idea. I feel like a lot of people don't have any edge. They're not. They're like copy trading, or they don't have any idea of how financial markets work, or they buy meme coins. And, we need people like this. We do need people like this to keep it going. But to keep the Ponzi
Stifling my
going for,
laughter.
yeah, just one more cycle. And if I had $10,000, where would I start? That's a good question. I'm not sure. I think I think you're better off going and getting a job. To be honest,
Let's say you've got a
I'd
job.
say
Let's say you've already got a job. You have your 10K
good.
portfolio. You want to risk it in crypto. You're safe. You're secure. But you're like, I
Fuck
have
yeah,
10.
do it,
I'm starting.
do it.
Where where do I allocate, Marty?
Don't lock it on blast, okay? Don't lock it on blast, right? Okay. You're better off playing these next narratives. You have the Bitcoin halving, you have the ETH play, you have the U.S. presidential election. I would probably just go spot or buy dated futures, because people always forget, like, dated futures, you don't pay funding. So it might be in backwardation or contango, depending on when you buy it. It means it's above or below current spot price, depending on when you buy it. Depends on what kind of market conditions we're in. I think we're in contango right now. It's above current spot prices, but you don't pay any funding. So you can lever up a little bit, 2x, 3x maybe. I think you can do more, but let's play it safe. And you're not really worried about, oh, I'm going to get liquidated if ETH moves $5. Your stop loss is probably, or your liquidation is probably like, I don't know, $1,400 or something like this. I have no idea. And you could play this, kind of long term play with low risk to liquidation. You're not paying any funding. You also get to lever up a little bit. There's also before the ETF, there was a bunch of basis plays. So you buy spot and sell the futures and collect 20% a year. And you can lever
Mm,
that up. So you can do that on Forex and make 80% in a year. You can do this quarterly, you can do this yearly, depending on which contract you want to do. I think that there was some simple trades like this, like a cash and carry trade, or the basis trade, or just playing dated futures versus shitcoins and perps. I think a lot of people you like, oh, you can take 10 grand and make double or triple is better than all in one day at a time, and maybe I
mm.
make 50K. I know so many people like COVID times that turned like 10 grand into 100 grand and thought that they were so smart, which is amazing for them. And that probably none of them cashed out. They probably gave
Oh,
it all back, you know? And that's life
yeah,
changing money for somebody, that had nothing, that had $10,000 to make 100K is life changing. You can get a new
that's
car,
huge.
you can upgrade your living
Hmm.
situation, you
Get a
can
deposit
go
on
to
a house.
school. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, not in some places, but yeah, you could buy a
not in
house.
Australia, not where I live. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. So like, you don't
get you
even
part of the
qualify
way.
actually.
And I do
Yeah.
think that's a big problem with confusing being right with being really lucky. Um, I forgot what it was. There's a decent quote out there somewhere that talks about being right for the right reasons, and otherwise you kind of carry with you this feeling of being like, oh, I'm so smart. It's like, were you, or did number just go up and you don't know why,
Number
and now
go
you
up
have a lot of
season.
money?
Number go up season.
Yeah, and
You're seeing this now with some influencers on the Twitter, like, oh, number goes up. They put some money in something. It went up, and they're doing some crazy shit now on the timeline. Like, and people like this aren't around that long.
yeah, no, genuinely. And speaking to that, like actually having reasonable investment strategies, your pinned tweet at the moment is like a reading list with reminiscence of a stock operator, market wizards, any of them, the intelligent investor. I've seen memes of the intelligent investor just being like chucked in the bin for crypto. Um,
Fuck yeah.
what do you, what do you, what's the deal with your book list? And I don't know, what are the key takeaways from that? Um, yeah.
Read it in order. The first book is like wrote in the 30s. Um, and this guy is every guy on crypto Twitter. He has nothing, he makes everything, and then he has nothing again. It's a life cycle of a trader, pretty much. And it's a good book for sure. Reminiscence of a stock operator. That one's always a classic. Read the book in order. I feel like there's a huge knowledge gap between that book and the whatever 10th or 11th book, the John Hole books. That's like a master's, college level math and derivatives book. And a lot of people seem to get lost in the math and lost in the sauce, and that's totally okay because the computer does all of that shit for you now. All of the equating. You just have to understand how the equations, why they work, how they're put together. But in terms of like, you're not doing the math by hand, like you're not on the chalkboard doing the equation. And you can always go down like the options modeling rabbit hole for years. Like it's a never ending black hole, like rabbit hole. It just keeps going on and on. You're always better pricing, and then you come back to crypto and it's like these people are just doing the most on altcoins in particular are doing like the most basic model, which is the Black Scholes model, and taking this model and applying it to altcoin vol and basically throwing a number, usually like 100 to 500 vol products versus like actually pricing out an option.
Hmm.
The key takeaways from the book list: read it in order, don't be hard on yourself if you don't understand the math, and that there's this huge knowledge gap between like, oh, I have conviction in Bitcoin and I'm going to buy Bitcoin and understand Bitcoin and ETH, let's say, majors, versus, oh, I'm modeling equations, and then there's a whole nother side that just wants to play meme coins, right? There's like three different kinds of players here. And I feel like a lot of people don't even take 10 minutes, an hour, a week, a day to read or learn about any sort of financial markets, right? You kind of need some grasp of how money moves and things work. And um, you don't need to be a math wizard to make money. I think your conviction is better than drawing mean lines and shit. I always like joke and I draw like two. I have two meme lines on ETH. Pretty easy. 2,500 and 1,600. That's it. The greatest TA of all time. I have no idea, but it worked. Like, oh yeah, like round numbers, 2,500. Sure, we get above 2,500, we probably go to 3,000. Get above 3,000, we probably go to 4,000. Like just whole round numbers
Mm.
is easier than like, oh, this exact level at 22.86 and 20 cents is gonna bounce on the fucking 1 second chart into the stratosphere. Like, ah, fuck you, like don't fall for the forex fucking people selling courses. All the information is available for free online to learn anything. MIT gives free online classes, the actual lectures for free. No, like you can learn all this shit yourself. You just need to take the time and apply yourself. But again, like either you don't have a job and you're trying to make it with a couple $1,000, or you have a job and you're just fucking around, and that's cool too. Or like this is your full time job, and I'm a full time trader. And if you want to be a full time trader, it's not just draw meme lines and you know
Hope.
indicators. Yeah,
And
opium,
pray.
and
Yeah.
yeah, your fucking teacher shouldn't live in London and drive a McLaren, and have an
Yeah.
AP watch. That's yeah, you shouldn't be buying courses. You shouldn't be buying shit. Um, but there's a huge knowledge gap of that guy who came like the FX course buyer to throwing 10 grand around to like a full-time trader, and everybody's playing a different game, swimming in a different pool with different strategies, risk tolerance, and most of these fucking people are better off going and getting a job, dude. That burrito brand Chipotle?
Yeah.
Yeah. If you fucking work there for 3 years, you can become or have an opportunity to become a manager and make like 110 grand a year. Go get a
Huh.
fucking job. Yeah, 3 years,
Yeah.
after tax, or 1 year after tax, you make 75 grand, 80 grand. That's more than all these fucking people make on crypto Twitter. There's probably like,
Mm.
I don't know, fucking 50 people on crypto Twitter that actually make money. And then you also
My
have the outsized returns, like Alex Wise or something like this, right? Where he's swinging fucking $10 million position, P&Ls,
Yep. And you've
and
got
lost
the
everything.
very well established the well established
Yeah.
actors that kind of like roll it all. Um, yeah. What's the deal with
High stakes capital, like there's some guys that just fucking do it, and then there's some people that are poker, like high stakes capital guys, like a poker player, so he was a gambler at heart, and now he comes into the crypto markets and does the same thing, fucking all in one day at a time and crushes it. But it's also different. Oh, I made 10% on a $10 million position versus I made 10% on $100 position. There's a
yeah, size
huge
matters.
gap. Yeah, it's a huge gap, dude. I remember just like holding spot bag from, I don't know, let's say 10 grand. We had that dip to like 3K, something like that. 5K, 3, 4, 5K, something like that. And just let's just say, my cost average was like 10 to 13,000, and holding that spot bag to 60 something. Holy fuck. I didn't do anything. I made so much money doing nothing. Like, oh,
Mm.
and that makes me smarter than you? No, I just had more available cash to throw at something that, did a 5x.
Yeah, okay. Spot and chill. That's the
Fun, chill. A lot of people don't have the spot bag. And then you can fuck around. Oh, I have a spot bag. And then you can NFTs, eigenlayers, airdrops. And airdrops are life changing for a lot of people, You make 10 grand on airdrop. You have 5 wallets. You make 50 grand. Like,
mm.
insane.
Some of my friends did well on Jito, and I saw a lot of that in the timeline and was just like, oh, of course, I've missed it.
Or I
uh,
didn't claim in time or something. It's always I'm
literally.
like the worst when it comes to timing and on-chain things. Should probably just hire somebody like, dude, I'll give you 50%. Just do it all for me. But
You're my
I'll
airdrop
put the
farmer.
capital up. Yeah, and go farm because I don't know anything. And there's always something new. There's I even saw the other day the dimension, not dementia.
Dimension,
It's not
yeah.
dementia, right? Dimension. Okay. Yeah.
Dementia. Oh man, that's good.
This guy
I
has dementia
really,
after this
I want to
story.
talk to
Yeah.
the founder of Dimension. I think I've forgotten his name right now, but I really did want to get him on the pod and talk to him about rollups. So here I am being like, it's
Yeah,
not
get him
Dementia.
on. It's not dementia. I backed you up. No, so like
I,
I even saw the other day, like the claim was up, or you could put your address in, and there was a yellow badge verified, which means
oh
like a
man.
company institution, like, oh, claim your airdrop here. And I was like, is this legit? Like I just tweeted, like I didn't even tag the page. It was just like, is this legit? Like, is this the right page? And people were like, no. And then yesterday or
Yep.
2 days ago, somebody got drained. I'm like,
Oh,
oh,
dude,
come on.
it's the same thing with the alt layer airdrop because it's like I'm a
Yeah.
Celestia staker. Like I bought Celestia very early on. Um, and yeah, I mean, like obviously just like looking through all the different things, and alt layer then did this retroactive thing where they're like, we took a snapshot on Jan 17, we're going to do airdrops, and the amount I just typed in like alt, like $ alt on Twitter to check for posts from them because I couldn't find their Twitter. The first 20 things, yeah, they're all the gold badges, and it's all scams, and
Yeah.
it's all to these airdrop claim links. And the second you connect, like, I mean, kind of dubious connecting a wallet to an airdrop claim site, but like the second you did that, bam.
Or it's not even like a connect, right? It's like scan this or something. There's always some tricky, some, sneaky
Yep.
thing behind it. And yeah, it's just lame. Like that's totally lame in this space. And, you have to be careful. And a lot of people use their main wallet for any sort of airdrop activities. Like it should be totally separate. It should be maybe even
Yeah.
on a different device. It shouldn't be near your stack. And your main stack shouldn't be in a fucking MetaMask anyways.
Yeah, no, legit. I had a friend of mine who told me about using a condom wallet, which I thought was very good. Just having this one
Mm.
with like a tiny little bit of ETH and a couple of other like potential gas things that you just interact with shit with. And that's your first port of call. And then once you've kind of used that and you're like, okay, cool, I'm not drained. Not for everything, but just for like new protocols and things that pop up, you're like, okay. And just making sure, and then you can funnel stuff through. Again, it depends on how much ETH you have because you don't want to be spending $30, $40 on gas every time you, you interact with a
Yeah,
fucking
fuck
protocol.
yeah, dude. I
It's a,
remember, I'm like the top buyer, dude. I had a $900 failed NFT mint, and that was it. I'm like, I'm out, dude. I'll never do that again. $900, dude.
fuck, dude.
Yeah, and I like coming
That's
on these shows and
brutal.
just talking shit about myself. Like I'm not the fucking best trader ever. I do stupid shit. I lose money, and I always buy the top. If it's not Bitcoin or ETH, I always buy the fucking top of some because I'm like, fuck, okay, I'll get to it. Okay,
Yep.
I'll do this now. I get to it. Well, TO is $20. I literally bought the top.
Oh, dude, that is like I have a like I was chatting with Pancakes about this the other day, and it's like he's like I have this like beautiful talent where the second I buy something, it immediately goes down, and I think that
Fuck yeah.
I
Inverse
think I share that
pancakes.
inverse pancakes, bro.
We're
Oh
gonna get an
man,
ETF inverse pancakes. Yeah, Pancakes
pancakes
is a good guy
ETF.
down in Argentina. Good guy. We hosted a group of people down there, like 10 or 15 of us for a barbecue. Good
How
times.
was the Brypto meetup South America? How was it?
Good. I got a weird thing about showing my face and, meeting new and random people.
Mm,
People end up in suitcases or robbed and all kinds of weird shit. So it was mutual friends. I ended up meeting like one person, and then that turned into us meeting like another two people. So then it was like four of us. Oh yeah, we know. It's us four. Okay, we know each other. And then the four of us met like another 4. So then it was like 8 of us, and then 8 turned into 10 or 15, and it kind of, I was in Buenos Aires for a few weeks last year. So, it was a big crypto community down there, some people building, some people trading, a lot of people working for protocols and shit like that, getting paid in dollars and living down there. American, Europeans, whatever.
Mm.
And yeah, good group of people down there for sure.
Hell yeah. Bullish, Bribda, South America. Before we run out of time, man, I'm really curious about your hat business because I've seen a couple of them on the timeline. I think, dude, the market makers love her hat sent me. I
Classic.
thought that was just the best thing. I was like, oh man, this is ideal. How did the hat business get started, and what's the go with it?
We had another account on the X.com that we ran up to like 10K, and then we got banned for, like those fucking protesters that sit in front of the cars and shit. So I
Oh
commented
yeah,
like, yeah, just run them over or something stupid, right? So I got permanently banned on Twitter for like, yeah, fucking run them over.
I'm
Uh,
guessing this is
I was like,
pre-Elon Twitter. Yeah.
no, no, this is yeah, last year sometime. Yeah, I don't know when it
Okay.
was. The tweet was I guess it was after Elon, but it was like a tweet from 4 months before. Like it was totally targeted, right? So
Hmm.
before that, we had a Twitter account, and there's a good fella named Loris on the timeline. Loris is a Delta One market maker on your favorite shitcoin exchanges like Gate.io and uh, what's a KuCoin and all that shit. So, Loris and
MEXC.
I are, yeah, shit like that,
Mm.
right? And Loris and I got into it on the timeline because I just talk shit on the timeline, dude. I don't take Twitter seriously. So I'm like selling volatility all year publicly. Like, oh, it's that easy pimps, all in one day at a time, you know, follow me for more. Just fucking bullshit, right? Just absolute garbage of tweets, but people think it's funny. So, and I think it's funny too. So Loris is a clean cut New York guy, it seems, suit wearing, fancy restaurant eating. And he was like, it's not that easy. He just wrote a fucking thread. It's not that easy. You're full of shit. And market makers love them or something. And I was like, oh, I'm putting that on a fucking hat, dude. So I put market makers love them on a hat and gave away like 500 of them. And he was so mad that he kept saying shit. So I took everything that he said and put it on a hat for like
Oh my
6 months,
god,
dude, for like a long time. And
that
this
is
turned into,
brilliant.
dude, I lost so much money on hats and it was so worth it, dude. There's like probably close to 1,000 hats now out in the wild that I gave away like 900 of them.
Jesus, that's
And it's
sick.
all quotes from Loris. Market makers love them. I was an options market maker for years. We are printing, dumbass. It's all from Loris, dude. I'm no creative director at all.
That's brilliant. I had no idea that that was the lore behind the hats. That's so good.
That's
And
what
you've just
makes it
been
funny,
giving them
dude.
away, just like just to people on the timeline, like, hey, have hats.
Yeah, here's a code. Take it. So funny because when it's conference season last year, people were sending me pictures of meeting other people with hats. It was good, made a funny lore, and people like gifts, and the hats are fucking funny, dude. I
The
literally
hats are
lost it.
fucking
Each
funny.
hat is like fucking $20 or $30 to ship. You know, make and ship, fucking times 1,000. We're up there for sure.
We're net negative on
Just for
hats.
fun. Oh, we're yeah,
What
yeah, fucking zero,
your
under zero.
your other habit is calling everyone pimps. Where did that kick just for fun?
Yeah, I say it in real life, dude. I literally say it in real life. Everything that I say on Twitter, I say in real life. It's not like a persona. That's what's funny. Like, and I just talk shit and don't take X seriously, Twitter.com seriously. And I met a lot of people on that app, and we all hang out and are friends now, and the community is great there, but you can't take fucking so
Yeah.
seriously like Loris did. People are too serious. Like, it's like, don't make this LinkedIn, dude. I don't have LinkedIn. I don't have Facebook. I don't have Instagram. I don't have any of that shit. I don't care.
Nice, man. Nice. I think that's probably a pretty good place to wrap up. Where can people find you on not socials because you don't have any, but where can people find you on X? Projects that you're getting stuck into at the moment, and what's on the cards for you over the next little while?
Yeah, you can find me on the x.com at thinking vols. It's probably a good place to start. I'm pretty active there. My DMs are always open for questions, comments, or concerns. If you wanted a hat, I'll send. Did you get a hat? I'll send you a hat.
I have
And
not received a hat.
I'll send you a little care package. I got like 10 people coming to my house for carnival, so I ordered like a fucking 15 pack of hats for everybody. Just fucking around, dude. It's so funny. The
Fuck
hats
yeah,
are
man.
so funny. And what's next? Um, more newsletters for Premia, more content for Premia. Premia is a decentralized options exchange. We're working on portfolio margin next, so that would increase, selling activities. There's a new UI. It's a little sluggish. We're ironing out all the kinks. Um, just mostly focus on that. I have no ownership there. I write the newsletters and do the spaces and trade there, help market make there, help show out the UI, fix out the UI, shovel out and iron out any real problems. But besides that, I'm just working on new market making bots, new arbitrage bots. That's it. Just
Nice, man.
working.
Awesome. Marty, thanks so much for coming on the show.
Thank you, Pim. I'll
Appreciate
get you
it.
a hat. I'll send you a code. You can get a couple.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah, pimp. Thanks, man.
Hell yeah, Pim.
All
I'm already down X amount. What's a little bit more?
right. Let's keep it going. Cheers, man. Thanks so much for coming on.
Alrighty, man. Have a good day.
If you've made it this far, thanks so much for sticking around. Don't forget to like and subscribe. This is only episode 4, so every sub, follow, review, etc. from this point onwards really, really helps me out. For those of you curious to find more, you can head over to my Twitter, which is at the Crypto Journo. It's a little bit cringe, but I'm just going to keep the handle now. It is what it is. Not only will you get full frontal access to my deluge of shitposting, but you'll also get updates as soon as these episodes go live. I also write something called the NGMI newsletter, which is more or less like a weekly stream of consciousness article where I just push all of my breakdowns of crypto markets for the week. I try and identify key investment opportunities and share some insightful stuff from the more knowledgeable people in crypto as well. So that goes out every Thursday at 11 a.m. So just type in NGMI newsletter into Google and you should find it. As always, thanks so much for tuning in. Really appreciate it. I'll see you in the next one.